Welcome to a very, very special episode of What's Your Skincare Routine with Leora Luciano. And I have the amazing Brit Madrid here from In the Cards and Stars. And you know her from YouTube. We love her tarot tea predictions and all things astrology and pop culture. So we're talking about the best highlights mainly in music. I feel like music had a big influence for 2024. So this is our recap of the year. So we're going to go through all the trends, some of your favorites, maybe some of your least favorites that you're hoping to move away from in 2025, but we're just going to dive right in.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was such a kind and generous intro. Thank you, Leora. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to get to talk about all of the trends. 2024 was such an interesting year. So there's a lot to dive into.
There is. Okay. So let's just get into it. I think the first thing I want to talk about are some TikTok trends that took over. Yeah. Say that 5 times fast.
Oh, yeah.
So the first, for me, I think the biggest trend was that demure trend. So
Yes.
do you remember that one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very mindful, very demure. I say it to my
Exactly.
dogs all the time.
Oh, I love that. And do they respond positively?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, good.
They love it.
Good. Yeah. So that was created by Jules LeBron, who's a trans creator. That post went viral and
Like
Yeah,
wildfire.
it went viral on TikTok. And then of course, it took off everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think brands got into it pretty quickly. By the time people on other platforms beyond TikTok got like wind of it, they were like, oh, wow, this really is everywhere. So good for
Right.
Jules. Good for demure. It was word of the year. I think Oxford
Ooh.
Dictionary picked that up. Yeah.
Okay. When
there we go.
TikTok starts to go Oxford,
Yeah.
it's like, what a time to be alive.
So I always love to emphasize the power and the influence of social media.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a big one.
You always are great at knowing like the different trends, like things that are happening right now. You also were talking about what's like the color of the year as well. Or is that for 2025? I'm jumping
Yes, no,
ahead.
that's okay.
We're still in 2024.
That's okay.
I'm ready for the new
you
year.
know what? Why don't we get into it? So this was announced earlier in December.
Okay.
The color of the year for 2025 already, if you don't know, is Mocha Mousse. It's basically a brown color. And so some people have had some interesting reactions.
No way. What have they been?
Well, they say it kind of looks like poop emoji.
Well, because also Mousse, like if
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has that, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is 2025 going to be a big poop emoji for all of us?
It could be, but hopefully not.
Hopefully not. We're not going to manifest.
Hopefully it speaks to that quiet luxury that people love to talk about.
Yes.
And, maybe brown will have, a little bit more play in terms of fashion and
Okay.
beauty. And it's a silky brown color. It seems almost cool toned, but like a great neutral. And I think it'll kind of be easy to incorporate into fashion, but also beauty trends as well. And I think we're starting to see brands kind of jump on that already. I know several brands have come out with limited edition colors,
Ooh.
in support of that.
The
color
Mocha
of the year.
Mousse?
Yeah.
That is the trend.
It's a pretty color, but brown, not everybody's a fan. And also people wanted maybe a brighter color. We're hoping for something a little bit more inspiring and maybe not as inspiring for some people. I don't know. You'll be the judge and see, we'll see what comes out of it.
On a positive note, it is a grounding color associated with like earth sign energy,
Love
Virgo
that.
energy, about healing. And 2025 is also a 9 energy universal number vibration for all of us, which is about transformation, healing, spirituality, the collective, humanitarianism. So I kind of like that. Having that grounded influence is going to be good, I think.
Other trends that we're seeing were on TikTok and also beyond, of course.
Beyond, yes.
There were lots of trends that I'm just going to talk about. We might dive into them a little bit deeper a little bit later. But, when it comes to music, there are artists that have sort of been reshaping the way we think about the music industry and kind of what our celebrities owe us. Like Chapel Roan is a great example of that. So Chapel has been very outspoken about being, kind of being directed even on the red carpet. She had an encounter with a photographer who, maybe they got into it, but, she's not one to tolerate mess. So
she sure is not. She drew some boundaries.
Yes.
And Saturn was in Pisces when she was doing that. And I thought that was very interesting because she has Pisces in her big 3, which she's posted on Instagram. And Saturn is about discipline and structure. And I think that she is structuring her creativity and her emotions right now, which that was cool. So all the Pisces people, I wonder if they're feeling the same way right now with Saturn there.
Ooh, okay. And the other person we have to talk about for 2024, Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
I mean, she's been taking over.
Mhm.
So much music has come out, her personal life.
Yes.
But
Her style.
her style. I
So
want to talk
cute.
about her bangs and blush.
Oh my, yes.
That I think she really brought back in a lot of ways, her and among other celebrities, blush, like that really big
Mhm.
blush trend where you really kind of pack it on maybe in ways
Yes.
we haven't seen it in some time. And the trend also speaks to blush blindness, where you
Yes.
kind of go a little too hard with it and maybe don't realize it.
Been there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also like the placement of the blush. I feel like
Mhm.
people were bringing it up a little higher underneath the eye, which kind of brightens the whole face. And it's
Absolutely.
very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. I love her style too, because I think she's a good mix of like fun and like kind of that feminine energy, but then her personality is like so spunky. And I really like her. She's like
Yeah.
a lot going on in that precious little package.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of punch.
Yeah. And I think she's one of those stars that is like, and maybe if you're not familiar, you think she's an overnight success, but just
Right.
she's been at it for a really long time. And speaking of people who have been in the industry for a really long time that maybe are on the rise, I think 2025, I'm going to call it, is going to be Charlie XCX's year.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we had a Brat Summer this year.
Mhm.
That neon green influence was
Yes.
everywhere, and she performed. She
Mhm.
had a tour with Troye Sivan, and now next year, not only is she performing at Coachella,
Oh,
but she's also doing like a stadium tour. So
huge.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so she's definitely one to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to music, I think those are the big three for me that made an impact in 2024,
Mhm.
but will go on in 2025 to make an even bigger impact and continue on.
They're going to keep growing.
Yeah.
We like it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. It's a good one.
And then we have to, keeping it musical, we have to talk
Mhm.
about Wicked.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Totally. Okay.
Yes.
I have not seen it yet.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
ashamed to admit here on the podcast.
You've been busy. You haven't gotten to it.
I'll get there.
It's like 3 hours. So
So you got to have the time. You got to, right. You got to make the commitment. You got to
Yeah.
carve out some time. I'll get there maybe over, Christmas.
That's great. So I talk about that because that was 2024. We had a lot of teasers going up to the opening and premiere of Wicked,
Mhm.
and the sequel, the follow-up, part 2, is going to be in 2025. So I think we're going to continue to talk about Wicked and have conversations around Wicked.
Totally. What were the biggest things you noticed about Wicked?
Oh, the colors,
Okay.
Glinda pink,
Mm.
Elphaba green. So I think, kind of, and
Which you're wearing those colors right now.
I am.
Do you feel like you
Okay.
were kind of inspired, maybe subconsciously by the movie even?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Did it like uplift you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I could just watch scenes of Jonathan Bailey doing anything. So yeah, I would
So
say
yeah.
it's pretty uplifting. Yeah.
Highly recommend then.
Yeah, highly recommend.
And your hair's a little bit lighter too right now.
Oh, yes.
And so that's kind of giving a Galinda Good Witch energy.
Yes, that's what I was going
Maybe
for.
by accident you ended up, she ended up in her Wicked era. Didn't even mean to. And here she is.
Absolutely.
Just being a bright, shining light. Okay. Love it.
I know that you had a lot of thoughts and feelings about some of these
I had some thoughts and
celebrities,
feelings.
too.
No, not me. Never. I have too many notes, you guys. I
Have
confess.
So many notes.
I have to confess.
It's great.
It's too exciting.
Just continuing, those were the kind of the pop girlies that I wanted to talk about, but also coming up in music. These are more the predictions, but also people who've had huge years. Taylor Swift.
Huge year.
I feel
Wow.
like every year she has a huge year.
Same. She's like been successful for quite a while, but yeah, this year did seem to put her on a different level. This year and last year.
Yeah.
This has been a really big like arc for her.
And literally it's the end of an era. Like
literally
the Eras tours it
ended.
complete.
Yeah, December 8th.
Yeah.
It's
So
done.
she's wrapped it up. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's going to be exciting to see what's next for her in 2025. Maybe it'll be more of a personal year. Maybe it'll be a quieter year.
So Leora, is your intuition going off right now? Because I actually just did last week on my podcast a numerology personal year breakdown for Taylor Swift. And that's exactly what I was saying. She's in a 7 personal year in 2025, which is about spirituality, more downtime, more rest, a little more solitude. And the 6 year and the 5 year, those are very active years. And those were the past 2 years when she was on stage and really on the go. And the 6 year is about love. So I still think she could get engaged before the end of the year.
Okay.
But yeah, she's having a moment. And look at you. You just like, you knew that. Maybe it's your Glinda Good Witch energy kicking in.
Maybe I'll have to check my magic wand.
You should.
Speaking of like celebrities that may be having a quiet year, so Beyonce, we haven't really heard much. Although I think when I wrote these notes, it was all about her upcoming performance. She's performing at the NFL's Christmas game between Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. So will we get a Cowboy Carter live experience?
What will she wear?
I don't know. So I think that's the one part of what's happening with Beyonce professionally, musically, that we've kind of been waiting to hear about.
And with her personal life and everything that's kind of going on there, I was also wondering if that's going to impact anything, because sometimes, people will take time away from the spotlight, but she does have those big commitments. So
she does.
I don't know. I think something big would have to happen for her to step away, right?
Yeah. And I feel like Beyonce is one of those celebrities that, yes, she's on social media, but she really only speaks to us when she has something to say. Otherwise, we don't hear from her. And there are very few celebrities that I think have the privilege of kind of being from that like old Hollywood era. Now everybody has such direct access to their favorite celebs. So it's a different way of having conversations and kind of being a public figure. So I think Beyonce is probably one of the few celebrities who still kind of has the capability of doing that, where it doesn't like impact her career. Because if a celebrity kind of goes off social media or doesn't speak out about something, then they're like, people are kind of like, oh, why aren't they talking about this? And with Beyonce, she's very interesting. I mean, she's an enigma in that way.
She really is.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait for the Christmas special.
Yes, thank you, Beyonce, as we say.
Thank you, Beyonce.
Cracking me up. That trend, I think it's so, I love it. I think the Gen Zs are just, they're too funny.
Yeah.
Thank God we have them to keep us laughing,
More unserious.
They are. Yeah. I enjoy their humor. But okay, so interesting.
I think the next thing I was going to talk about was Grammy predictions.
Oh, yes. Okay. And, interesting.
I know I'm saying predictions, but when you talk about Grammys, we actually met at that Grammys party last year.
Did.
Yes.
It's our 1 year anniversary of knowing each other and being friends. How nice.
Yeah, that'll be coming up in February. But the Grammys are basically awarding musical artists that came out with albums and impactful music from the year before.
Wow.
So this year, what's interesting, the nominees have been announced.
Okay.
And we have, for Record of the Year, the nominees include the Beatles, Beyonce, Sabrina Carpenter. I mean, you have Charlie XCX. It's a real mashup of people who you would never think would be in the same category.
Right. Who knew the Beatles were going to be nominated this year?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so interesting.
Yeah. But we also have, Billie Eilish, Kendrick Lamar, Chappell Roan, and Taylor Swift up for noms. So it's going to be a really big year for a lot of our ladies in pop. I didn't see the Beatles coming. So, you just kind of never know what's going to happen. And it's going to be interesting to see that.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm like just looking at your list of nominees and I'm kind of in shock. Okay. Beyonce, the Beatles, Sabrina Carpenter. So predictions wise, what are you feeling? Like, what do you think could happen? Or do you want to say?
I really don't even have any predictions, because once I saw the nominees, it all kind of makes sense. We have a lot of Beyonce represented, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX. I mean, these are all great nominees. I think everybody who is up, Kendrick Lamar, I mean, talk about breakthrough in like hip hop and just all of the stuff that has been going on with music, the way that it's coming out. I don't have any solid predictions just yet. Once we get closer to award seasons, I feel like
you get a feeling.
My spidey senses start like tingling, and I'm like, ooh, like the same thing for like the SAG Awards, the Emmys, the Oscars, all of that, that starts coming up. But I have noticed a bit of a musical trend when it comes to movies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
We're leaning in that direction, aren't we?
We're leaning in that direction. It's the return of the musical.
Mhm.
I'm saying that. I don't know if that's going to be true or
I
not,
think so.
but I love a musical moment. We have Wicked, of course,
Mhm.
very musical, very theatrical. It's literally the Broadway show. Everybody already knows the music. So
Mhm.
that's one thing that I found that was really, you'll see when you watch the movie. If you've already watched, you can co-sign that, but you already know these songs are already
Sure.
popular, all puns intended, but
Oh, yes. It's a wonderful song, popular. So that makes it fun,
yeah,
right? It's like
yeah,
there's that familiarity,
yeah.
even though you're not allowed to sing along at the theater, apparently.
Right,
That was the
right.
big thing. But
Yeah. I think some theaters are embracing that
okay,
though and
good.
leaning
It's
into it,
changing.
especially now as it's been out for a little bit
Okay.
longer. I think that really is something exciting. I've seen some theaters do like performances while it's happening.
Oh,
I'm assuming this is not for your first watch.
okay.
So the sing along is maybe for your second or third watch
Oh, second or third.
yeah,
That's how good.
or maybe more.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got to see
Yeah.
this. I got to see this.
So Wicked, of course, also stars Ariana Grande, who
Mhm.
is, I know, somebody that you have, had given a lot of thought
So
to.
yes, I'll drop a little bit of tea then on that because you're right. I did add quite a few notes. I felt like she was one of the most controversial figures of 2024 because there was just so much from her personal life, which I felt like had some really low lows,
Yeah.
with her
Yeah.
relationship. And she even seemed like she was really going through something, kind of dropped out of the public eye for a little
Mhm.
bit. Then there were some celebrity reporters and tea spillers on YouTube that said that that was intentional and that the studio wanted her to step away because they were trying to preserve, the integrity of the film and keep people in a space where they had her in their good graces. And so
Okay.
I really feel like for her life was just probably pretty chaotic. So low lows there, a lot of emotions, and then some really high highs because
Mhm.
Wicked is something that she's talked about wanting and trying to manifest for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I think there was like an interview from like 2015 that
Yeah.
yeah, you saw that
Yes.
one with
Yes.
Kid Craddock, the radio
Yes.
personality, late radio
Yes.
personality. Yeah, so he's from Dallas, and I'm actually good friends with his daughter. And
Oh.
so I loved seeing that. It's always nice to see him, but it's like
Yeah, so through that interview, it was like
such
she was
felt it.
really putting that manifestation
She
forward.
really
Yeah.
and that was
Mhm.
so long ago.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I feel like it was such a big year for her. So I wanted to look at her astrology, and I've kind of talked about it here and there on the channel, but she's having her Saturn return right now.
Okay.
And the Saturn return, as I think a lot of people know, but if you don't, it's like your rite of passage. It is a really big milestone. And this is when Saturn kind of challenges you to, level up, grow up, look at yourself, take your life seriously. So, areas where in the past you could get away with certain things, it's really about maturing and
Yeah.
having to take things seriously. I mean,
Right.
and Saturn does reward you if you take things seriously. And we all have a Saturn return, but it was interesting to see how hers manifested. And it's in her fifth house of love, romance, and creativity.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
covers both. It
Yeah.
covers Wicked and that creativity. And then it also covers her love life. So yeah, that was one of the biggest things for me that was an astrology in the wild moment with Ariana. And hopefully, hopefully she went through that Saturn return, learned the lessons she needed to learn, and is going to be feeling good and, did her thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was interesting that, going through that in the spotlight. I'm sure that was tough.
Yeah, whether she comes out with more music or
Mhm.
whatever she chooses to do, because Wicked will continue that press tour that they've done, her and,
Yeah. And
I don't
Cynthia
know,
Erivo and
Cynthia Erivo,
and
just really physically being very supportive to one another.
sure.
That was very interesting,
Mhm.
and fun to see. And
Mhm.
I think I don't know if they're going to kind of deliver the same way for next year.
That will be
But
interesting to see
yeah.
how their friendship
Mhm.
evolves.
Mhm.
Like, I've seen people
Yeah.
say that a lot of it was almost like a publicity
Yeah.
relationship to
Yeah.
balance out the negative press, and
Right.
other people have said, "No, they're actually great friends, and they were really supportive of each
Yeah.
other, even down to the negotiations of, how much they were being paid, and they were making sure that they were on the same level." And so I don't know. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully they
Yeah.
really are friends,
I
and
hope so
we'll
too.
see the friendship next year again.
Yeah. Continuing into movies, there are some other really big ones to come.
Yes.
So, Timothee Chalamet is playing Bob Dylan. And this is a
Oh my.
movie that is, coming up, and not a lot of people have seen it yet. I'm not sure if it's has a wide release yet as
Yeah.
of our airing. Filmed, I think the idea was when Bob Dylan was 19 and was
Mhm.
in New York and really like an up and coming artist. So Timothee Chalamet plays Bob Dylan, and he has been learning guitar. He also plays guitar and sings in the movie. And it's
Wow.
getting really positive reviews right now.
Cool.
So maybe this could be like a little bit of an Oscar buzzy moment for Timothée Chalamet, and of course the other awards that go along with that too. But
Sure.
yeah, so
That would be huge for him. Like, it's kind of like Austin Butler when he played Elvis. Like,
yes.
I feel like that's a big challenge for an actor
Yeah.
to really be able to embody a different personality who's so well
An
known
icon.
and to do it
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
And to do it
Yeah.
well. I
Yes.
think that really probably gives them quite a
Yeah.
boost of confidence, and the industry really
Yeah.
respects that. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm definitely interested to see it and see how he transforms.
And it's said to have Bob Dylan's stamp of approval. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not always something you hear with these, sort of like biopic films.
Right.
Where,
Like
some
Britney
people
Spears is one of the people
exactly.
who was actually saying, she's like, "I'm still alive. I don't you
Yeah.
guys don't need to make a movie about my
Yeah.
life yet." So
Yeah.
yeah, some people are very against it.
Yeah.
Just kind of depends on, yeah, their personality. Okay, interesting.
So one more movie that I'm really excited about is Emelia Perez.
Okay.
And that's on Netflix, and it has Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez as stars.
Mm.
And Selena Gomez, newly engaged. Nothing to do with the movie, but
Newly engaged.
I want to hear you spill some tea about that. Maybe there's some tarot tea on that, or
We'll pull a
maybe
couple cards. How
all
about that?
right. It stars also Carla Sofia Gascon,
Mhm.
and it's basically about a cartel leader who enlists an attorney to help her disappear and achieve the dream of transitioning to a woman. And it's a
Wow.
musical. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly if it's,
Okay.
classified as a musical because it's kind of a very genre bending type of movie.
Sounds like it.
And I think, out of context, when you hear the songs, because it is musically inclined, the lyrics do drive the plot.
Okay.
So out of context, it sounds a little weird. So you see some clips and it's like, wait, what is this about? This is
Okay.
a little odd, but yes, but also I think it's really interesting, and it's
Hey.
driven by the music.
So it really is like a true musical where they're
Yeah.
singing through the actions and like
Yeah.
describing the
Yeah.
moving the plot forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
really
And you liked
interesting.
it? You saw it?
I thought it was fascinating, and I, was pleasantly surprised by Zoe Saldana singing.
Oh, yeah.
And also, of course, Selena Gomez is singing. It moves really quickly, and you're just sort of like, wait, what's happening? But also, I don't know. I loved it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure in terms of reviews. It seems to be, I think they got like a standing ovation at a film
Wow.
festival.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's one to check out on Netflix as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah. So those are, I think, the three movies that really are kind of defining 2024 for me when
Mm.
it comes to music in movies or influencing movies. And then, yeah, just jumping ahead to some of the trends that I see for 2025. When it comes to 2025, I wanted to ask you, are there like any astrological things maybe that you see coming up that may impact beauty?
Yes. Yes, there are. One of the big things, because there are certain planets that affect like the collective, right?
Yeah.
And those are the outer planets because those are the ones that have the biggest influence on just like everybody as like a whole, right?
Yeah.
And that's pop culture and beauty trends and things like that. And one of the biggest transits that actually has already begun starting November 19th, Pluto moved into the air sign Aquarius.
Okay.
And so things are going to get a little bit funky.
Yeah.
We had, what was it, the cinnamon girl or something was a
Yes,
trend in
that was,
2024,
Hailey Bieber, Cinnamon Girl Beauty.
which is
Yeah, makeup.
beautiful.
Mhm.
But I don't see that continuing in
Mhm.
2025 and beyond. I think we might have like Galactic Girl or like, I don't know, Ariana Grande was like kind of already starting to do that with her REM or REM beauty.
Yeah.
It was very galactic, and it's the themes are all like that, those light purples and blues. And
Yeah.
so those colors are associated with Aquarius. We also are just going to have a lot going on when it comes to self actualization, self expression. So I do see beauty trends and fashion becoming a lot more individualized and us following less of one path, one trend, and that might be in different ways. You might see that expressed, but it's going to get less linear. And then it's an air sign. So even though, it looks like TikTok is going to be leaving us in 2025, there might be something else, right? As of now, as of time of recording, but there might be something else that takes its place because air signs are about communication. And with Pluto there's going to be some sort of transformation in the way that we communicate about trends, the way we share trends, the way we share ideas. So I could see there being another sort of app or even completely different style of communicating altogether.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, sending like digital images via, I don't know, what are those, like the headsets?
Oh, like VR
Like
glasses?
VR, yeah, like being able to like send an image idea that you like. I don't know. I'm an Aquarius
Ooh.
rising, so I get some crazy ideas, but that could be it. Something like that, where Laura is like, I think I want to wear this today, and then she like puts it in her thing and then sends it to me, and who knows? I could send it back. We don't know. Things like that. So technology being more a part of beauty, and that's going to last for the next 20 years. So we're going to have a lot of innovations where I think we're finally going to see some of these things that we've been seeing over time really solidify. Like, was it YSL that had where you could print out or create like
customize your lipstick?
Yes. So things like that. But I think they're really going to like be here to stay now. Those were sort of like the dabbling, the prototypes.
Okay.
And I think now we're going to see that really, become something real. So that's like a really big one. The other big one for everyone is the North Node. So the North Node has been in Aries with the South Node in Libra. So I think that's why like Brat Summer, was so big.
Okay.
Aries is about individualism, and you have Aries in your chart, a lot of it. So like being a warrior, being a leader, being an innovator, but in a very like independent fashion where you express who you are to the world through your style and fashion, which is still going to be a thing with Pluto and Aquarius. But I think we're going to switch from the more harsh lines and the eyebrows that are kind of gone and going back to that kind of gaunt look that we've popularized again. That's all very Aries energy. Aries is very athletic and about getting things done. So no frills kind of. And I think that when the North Node shifts into Pisces with the South Node in Virgo, we are going to get more into the ethereal styles again. So more floaty, like in clothing, more floaty, more blues. Kind of goes with the Aquarius energy too. So more blues, purples. And then I think that we're going to just have more just light colored and light fabric. And more of like an airy kind of energy.
So like
I think
feathers maybe?
Maybe. I mean, this outfit is crazy. Okay. This is a show me your moo. I was like, this looks like fun for New Year's. So kind of like this, just fun and just expressing yourself and beauty and otherwise. So it's going to get fun.
Oh, I love that. Okay. That really gives a nice framework to some of the trends that I'm starting to see.
Really?
Yeah. Because some of the things, especially when you talk about innovation, we're going to talk about skincare.
Of course, we have to.
So I don't know if you've heard about this one. This is the salmon sperm facial.
I haven't.
Okay.
But I need to know.
There's a little bit of buzz about that as an ingredient, and it became a little bit more popular in facial treatments.
Okay.
So celebrities like Jennifer Aniston, she actually went on Jimmy Kimmel. There's a clip of her talking about it.
Oh my gosh.
With Jimmy Kimmel and, talking about, she's like, yeah, I don't want to think about it too much, but it's fine. And
you really couldn't. Yeah. It would be hard to.
Jennifer Aniston has amazing skin. She's been an ambassador for skincare and beauty brands for a number of years. And, she knows what she's doing when it comes to that and has access to the best of the best.
And she's an Aquarius sun.
Ooh.
So it's not surprising that she would be leading the way with some of these out of the box treatments.
Yeah.
So a side note there.
So what this treatment is, it's a procedure that involves injecting the polynucleotides from salmon sperm into the skin.
Okay, so it's not the actual sperm. It's like a compound.
Right,
found. Okay.
Exactly.
That's a little better.
Derivative.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel a little better.
Yeah. But there are also other injectables that help with hydration in the skin, like Skin Vive. It's the hyaluronic acid, and it's the first hyaluronic acid based injectable.
Nice.
And it's kind of rising in trending searches across Google. So it's one to look out for. You might start hearing about it, especially in 2025 for sort of that injectable glow.
Oh, nice. Is it just about the quality of the skin?
Really more, it's also, when you think of injectables, you also have to think about skin depth, like how deeply you're injecting something below the surface of the skin. So that's also part of that. It's more of, the skin's appearance. So you get kind of that.
Love that.
Way look.
Oh, I really like that. Because sometimes the moisturizer just isn't fully doing it,
Absolutely. And then talking about wellness, it's going to be all about gut health. I mean, for me,
Wow.
it's already all about gut health.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to sit with you maybe for our next one, kind of like come up with the right like probiotic according to your sun sign or something.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So you are deep in it. Okay.
Yeah. I know I have so many notes,
That's so interesting, Leora.
but I think the other thing too, we can talk about supplements like
Mhm.
probiotics for your gut microbiome and your, integrity, right?
Sure.
In your system. But we're also looking at things like kefir, like beverages that
Mhm.
have that probiotic sodas, right?
Right.
But then also sourdough bread and, sauerkraut even.
Ooh, I love sauerkraut.
Yeah,
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
So those things they've always been around. But you're
Right.
going to see it more maybe marketed in that way for all of
Ooh.
its, gut health benefits.
What have you noticed about the gut health trend or for yourself, like ever since you've started using it? Do you
Oh,
feel a
yeah.
difference? You notice?
I feel like you only notice imbalances when something is wrong.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think that's one of those things where if you're somebody that suffers with gut health issues, you know it. So if it's
Sure.
something that is off kilter, you will
Mhm.
feel it and you're looking for solutions.
Right.
So finding something that works and that you don't notice, I think is kind of the goal, at least for me.
Nice. So
When
it's
it
just
comes to
like
that.
if there are no symptoms, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how we know it's
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
Okay.
obviously, this is not medical advice, so check with your doctors before you take any supplements
Sure.
or change your diet, but it's one of those things that I think we're going to start talking a little bit more about, especially in 2025.
Okay. I love
Mhm.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. And it does affect everything, right? Your brain,
Yeah.
your mindset, all of that can be impacted by your gut health. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Love it. Again, not a doctor, but that's what I've heard.
For these trends, there's so many more that we're going to get into and continue on a deeper dive, but we're going to talk about things with Brit. So once you listen to this or watch this, head over to see all things Brit, and we're going to just continue the conversation. So with that, I'm going to close out this episode.
Perfect.
And thank you so much for being on. I love chatting with you. I could chat with you for many days on ends, so
Clearly by our notes.
yeah, clearly we have so much
You can
to chat
see
about.
that
Yeah,
we like to chat.
yes. So I'm going to stop for now and I guess say thank you, Brit. Thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you, Beyonce. Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And yeah, head over to In the Cards and Stars after you watch this episode if you want to see part 2.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.